guess, oh, frozen camera. I guess it's just me today, guys, huh? You're watching the replay, so hello from another space and time. I am excited. I'm still going to give you something good and juicy. Um, I'm excited about today's conversation because we all fall a little bit victim to this, not all the time, but sometimes when our needs get challenged, we try to create from this place, and it can become a conditioned state of being unconsciously, and then that is just the way that we operate. And this way of operating actually keeps us very, very limited. It keeps us very small. It doesn't allow us to see beyond what we feel because we can't think beyond what we feel. And maybe there are areas in our life where we can pull in and generate and create reality from that place of passion and excitement and joy and non-attachment. But there are also aspects of our life, like it, hence like or I should say, in relation to the themes that we're here to explore in our lifetime. Um, Sometimes a lot of that challenges this part of us. And so we try to get ahead or we try to create from this specific place. And then it just winds up having us fall flat on our face, right? And so, what is that, right? What is that? You guys are probably sitting at the edge of your seat. So I'm talking about creating from a state of survival, creating from a state of survival. And I want you guys to really have an honest conversation with yourself right now. Okay. Um, there may be ways where creating from passion comes freely and effortlessly, and there are facets of life that come through freely and effortlessly. But I want you guys to take a look at where in your life are you generating from a space of survival. Right now, our whole job in this front beginning is who is driving the seat, who is driving the car. Okay, not driving the seat. Unless it's a rocking chair, I guess you could kind of consider that, but you guys get what I'm talking about. So let me tune in. I feel like this is a very channeled message that needs to come through. um okay, so generating from a place of survival has this really deep, um, frantic, insecure, um, gotta make it happen no matter what mentality. And it's like you have to force it to happen. It's like you have to do this in order to get this result, or I need to do this in order to get this result. It's like this frantic, panicked timeline or deadline, I should say, where it's like it needs to happen, it needs to happen, it needs to happen. I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And it stirs up that anxiousness within you, right? It doesn't necessarily feel good in the emotional body. It doesn't really feel good in the physical body. Maybe your breath is a little bit shorter when you think about it, or you're a little bit shaky when you think about it, or you're feeling a little bit chaotic in the mental body when you're doing it. And also, even when you think about doing it, you feel that anxiousness, that franticness, that deadlineness, that go, 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 right? I'm going to open up my eyes here and there to make sure that one of you is not hanging out in the waiting room. But if you are, I'm sorry. Um, so um, it is this um, frantic need to mentality. And it's like this attachment where it's like, I need the outcome to occur, or I'm not going to be happy, or I need the outcome to occur in order to feel secure. I need the outcome to occur in order to validate my existence. I need this outcome to occur in order to know I'm on the right path. It's like you use this outcome to define an aspect of you, your certainty, your path, your purpose, your healing, right? It's this need. It's this, oh, also I'm hearing it's this place of desperation. There's a little bit of desperation attached to it, right? It's like you want it as bad as you want to breathe, but it's not from a healthy place, right? Um, and remember, desperation is repelling. Desperation is actually a repelling nature. It's a repelling vibration, right? So we never want to be in that desperate place. When we're in a desperate place, that means we're clinging onto it, which means that it has control over us, which then also means that you're either repelling it or it, again, it's like just unconsciously controlling you and your behaviors and your decisions, right? Desperation is repelling to your highest and best, most divine dreams coming in. Okay. Let's see if there's anything more Creator wants me to say about this. Um, I don't know if this will come in later, so I'm just going to say it now. Um, Creation understands that, there are places in life where we do need to be in a survival state, like making sure that you have food on the table, or making sure that you have a roof over your head, or making sure that you have gas in the car, or making sure that your little Jack Russell has food, right? So Creator recognizes that there are places in life where that survival state is triggered mechanically within the body so that you can truly survive. And once the mission is accomplished, you have to exit that. But actually, even deeper than that and more profoundly than that is that you must, even in the face of that scarcity, you must think and feel beyond your environment, because transcendence happens, ascension happens, upgrades in reality happen when you think and feel beyond your environment, right? So you cannot fall victim to the senses, your sight, your nose, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch. You cannot fall victim to the circumstances around you to tell you whether you're abundant or not, or to tell you whether you are whole or not, or to tell you whether you are worthy of love or not, or to tell you whether you are prosperous or not. You have to think and feel beyond your environment. And that's why that most struggle with doing that, because this is a very sensory enveloped world, right? Like literally, we are here to be physical, we are here to experience this reality, but we are here to shift energy and our reality and the things in our reality, like my computer, like this microphone, like my cup, like the place that you're in right now, like what you're surrounded by right now, is a reflection of what you most believe to be true about yourself and what you're capable of. So, and what you're worthy of receiving, or how much you allow it to flow through you, right? We talked about that a few weeks ago. So, um, hmm. So again, we cannot fall victim to the senses, and have to, um, we have to think and feel beyond our environment. So even when you're in a survival state, it only allows you, because you cannot perceive that which you are not the vibration of, right? So you can only perceive that vibration or those problems, or those, actually not problems, forgive me, those solutions. You can only um find the solutions that are equal to that survival state and not beyond. So it's important to find a way to get yourself into a place of passion and excitement and faith and trust, even in those, especially in those really dense, dark, challenging, grueling, begrudging moments, so that you can expand beyond that survival vibration, so that you can perceive and witness different opportunities, different solutions, because also you can't solve the problem with the mindset that created it, right? Because that keeps you in the loop, 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 right? So, um, it's so important that you find it within you in the most natural, organic way without having to bury or dismiss what you're feeling. Okay. Feel it first and then open yourself up to being creative, finding a source of passion, and then allow that to be a clear channel through you. Okay. So if you're in a survival mode, you're not going to be able to perceive solutions or opportunities that are outside of that survival state. So it's so important that you find a way to muster up, conjure up, generate, cultivate feelings of passion. Also, this last thing that's coming through, and then we're going to move into creating from passion. Okay. The universe gives you more of what you feel. The universe gives you more of what you feel. So if your and there's a reason for this, right? Your head is electric, your thoughts are electric, your heart is magnetic, and your the feelings that you feel in your heart are 5,000 times more powerful than the thoughts, electric thoughts in your brain. So that creates this electromagnetic field around us, right? Boom. And because this is 5,000 times more powerful than your thoughts, the universe responds to this right here, what we're feeling. And the universe will give you more of what you feel. So if you're doing things from this need to, hustle, grindy, grimy, like, oh, I don't even know what word wants to come through, plays, then the universe is going to give you more experiences that validate that that is the way that it works, because the universe doesn't know anything other than yes. It does not know anything other than yes. So it's like, okay, sure, if you want to, be in more survival, let's give you more reasons to feel like you need to be in survival. And then stacking on that, it's a self-perpetuating loop if you keep feeding it. Does that make sense? So we have to find a way to get out of that survival state and no longer create our dream reality from that survival state, because your dream reality, in your dreams, you're not in survival. In your dream reality, you are in bliss, passion, ease, flow, joy, fluidity, trust, and ooh la la, it feels amazing. Right? So that's why it's so important for us to get out of survival and then into a state of passion. Okay. So let's talk about passion. So passion is fulfilling. It is the epitome of non-attachment. It is the epitome of fluidity and flow. And being passionate is what makes you magnetic. It is what makes you attractive. Being in survival, that is not attractive. And you will unconsciously repel people, places, events, and circumstances because of that desperation. But when you're in passion and you're feeling whole and you're fulfilled and you're excited, you're attractive, you're magnetic. And because you're in that high frequency state, all of these things just pour into your lap. It just comes in no matter what, right? Because not only are you a vibration that is receptive to letting it flow through you and bringing it in, but also you can perceive and witness these opportunities, these events, these circumstances, these solutions, and therefore you're that open channel to perceive all of that. So then therefore, like I keep saying, you can get the results that you want, but not with the end result, like not being clingy to it, right? So we've talked about this before. I'm going to briefly talk about it again. But if you think about like, um, let's say somebody on YouTube who just crochets, who knows how to crochet, and they crochet these adorable little octopuses, right? They do it because they're passionate about it. They do it because they are connected to it. They do it because it fulfills them. It makes them whole, right? And so when you have somebody who's crocheting the octopuses to make money and trying to fill a survival need, that is a different vibration than the person who's just doing it for the hell of it because it feels good, because they love it, because they just want like, and then they post it like, oh my God, look at my amazing octopus that I just crocheted. And then they're the ones that actually earn the money and not the one who's doing it for a buck, right? And it's almost like we notice and observe that these people who do things for like do things just because they're passionate about it, they stumble upon success, right? It's like they just stumble upon it. It's all of a sudden they get this spotlight and then they're generating income and they're generating money. So we have to do these things from that state of passion, and the passion must be enough. The passion must be enough without a outcome attached or expected or insisted upon, right? Let's see here. There's more that wants to come through. So like even in relationships, right? If you're trying to repair or be better in setting boundaries or in your relationships, but it's coming from this place of survival, you're still going to get walked all over, right? But if you're doing it because you're passionate about loving yourself and you're passionate about feeling good and you're passionate about maintaining your vibration, then it's a whole different experience, whole different outcome. Let's see what else wants to come through here. But when you do things just because you're passionate about it and you're excited about it, and even just thinking about it feels good, thinking about doing it feels good and it stirs up excitement within you, and it cultivates this dreamy, like blissful state. Follow that. That is the breadcrumbs that lead you to your dreams. Those are the breadcrumbs that lead you to that highest and best, most divine timeline. And so we have to create our reality from that place of passion, from that place of excitement and bliss. And that passion has to be enough. That passion has to be enough, because if you're doing things from force and force and force and force and force and survival, 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 you're limited. You're limited in the definitions of how you can receive abundance. You're limited in the definitions about when you can receive abundance. And that cuts you off like deeply, like a lot, tremendously, I should say. But when you go from a place of passion, you're like all these streams of ideas and opportunities and ways of income and ways of fixing or repairing things or healing things or all of that, the better version of you, the highest and best version of you, the one that can set boundaries in relationships, no problem. That is like this flood of information, ideas, circumstances, you'll notice that people around you just naturally and unconsciously start behaving differently because your vibration is different, right? There's a completely different place of wanting to have a relationship with a sibling out of survival and then having a relationship with a sibling out of just pure genuine desire to connect in that relationship and having no strings attached, right? I hope that this is making sense. When you find yourself in that survival state of I need to do this, I have to do this, I have to make it happen no matter what, or I have to go out there and wave my sign, or I have to, I need to. You're generating reality from that survival state. And that is not how your highest and best, most divine timeline and dreams come in. You have to do it from the, when you find yourself in there, ask yourself, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? What feels good? Now, obviously, we have to be mindful of like sabotaging habits, right? We have to be mindful of that, but that's a completely different story. Maybe we could do another training about that. Like when it's sabotage, when it's, you're actually being divinely blocked, like that's not the place to go. Um, yeah, we can do that next week. But it's like it's when you find yourself in I need to, ask yourself, first of all, stop, okay, and wake yourself up and say, we're not doing that. And ask yourself, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? What feels good to do? And then do that. And then other forms of abundance, other forms of ideas, other forms of opportunities will naturally come to you. But the thing is you can't do it because you want to get in that state, because that is still being attached to an outcome. Right, I was guilty of this too. I'm going to get in a high vibrational state because then I'll get this. No, you have to do it just for the sake of you just want to feel good and you want to feel whole and you want to generate your reality from a place of passion and not survival. Okay. And also, when you generate reality from a passionate place, from an exciting, I just want to pour this into humanity. I just want to pour this into the world. I just want to pour this into my life and into my reality. Then it opens up the floodgates for there to be literally like a direct streamline of it all coming in. Okay. So the most important thing right now is to get out of a state of survival and into a state of passion. So now I'm going to ask you guys to close your eyes. And I want you to just kind of reflect upon your decisions the last 24 hours. There's only two people who could be driving the wheel in this scenario. Was it the person in a state of survival, or was it the person in a state of creativity? Which decisions were in a state of survival? Why were they in a state of survival? What's the source? What's the need that is trying to be filled? And you're trying to use your passion or your dreams to fill it. It's not how it's done. It's just not. Do you see now why you get that stagnant or disappointing or like unpreferred result? So, what can you do to replace that with excitement and passion? Or where can you start to invite passion into that mix? Remember, you have to be completely okay with whatever you want not occurring. Okay. You have to, like Maggie with your singing, you have to be okay with never making a dollar on it. And I know that's, you're probably like, well, it's fine because I already kind of do that anyway. But I mean, if that is your purpose and that is your dream and that is how you envision your timeline playing out and how you're going to earn money, right? You cannot be attached to that giving you or earning you money. You have to be completely, and I mean embodiment, completely okay with it never earning you a dollar. And the passion in of itself just has to be enough. The passion in of itself just needs to be enough. It needs to be fulfilling enough. It needs to be whole enough. It needs to be satisfying enough. That's how the money comes in because you're not attached to the money coming in through that vehicle, right? The passion must be enough. Okay. Everything else will get taken care of if you allow it, right? Flow, flow, flow. Let it in, let it in, let it in, let it in. So let's check in. So, in what ways can you disrupt the pattern of that survival? So, let's do that. What ways do you know naturally can disrupt the pattern of survival? So, here's how you get out of survival. Here's how you do it. Okay. This is okay. So, the first thing is that you must stop identifying with the personal history, with the personal stories, and with the personality and with the person that you are. The first thing is you must completely strip away that identity. And that comes in through deep states of meditation. So there's this amazing Mooji meditation I will attach in the links here that I would recommend listening to every single day. And because it's only 10 minutes, I will listen to it probably over and over, probably about 3 or 4 times. So I get like 40 minutes out of just detaching from me and who I think I am and all of these things that, tell me who I am, right? The most important thing first is to just simply detach from you and who you think you are and the things around you that validate to you who you are. That's the first way to get out of survival. And this takes time. This is not an overnight thing. This is if you do it consistently, at least every day or, several times a week. Like maybe you can't do it every day, but maybe you do it like 5 out of the 7 days or whatever have you, the more you can untangle yourself from that personal history, from those personal stories, from that personality, from that person, then the quicker the events will happen, right? The quicker that you'll be out of survival and more into passion. So step one of getting out of survival is to step out of the present identity. Okay. So second thing is that you do more things that make you happy. You no longer engage in that, I need to do this. And it's okay at first if that's still occurring. And it's also okay at first if you are like, holy shit, I'm doing it again, right? Do you know how many holy shit moments I've had where, holy shit, I'm doing it again? That's a part of the unlearning process. It is okay, and it takes as long as it takes, okay? But but it's important that we start to condition that out of our nervous system, out of our habitual system, right? And start to make different choices. So the question is then, what do I want to do? What is it that I want to do? And maybe you don't get the answer right away, and that is okay too. Sit with it if you can and just kind of wait, let the thoughts pass, just kind of like maybe go about your day if you if you can, or if you want to just sit there and sit with it and be like, what is it? What would make me happy right now? What would make me happy right now? What gets me excited right now? If I could do anything in this moment, what would I do? If I could have it any way that I want it, what would I want? Right? What would I speak or think or do into existence? Right? So that's number two. Number three of getting out of survival. Obviously, I'm going to say your associations, who you surround yourself with. There are people who legitimately don't make you feel secure. There are people who legitimately don't make you feel safe. Step out of those relationships, even if it's temporarily. Or indefinitely, but step out of those relationships, environments. What environments don't make you feel safe? What environments kind of make you feel like you're on pins and needles, where you have to show up as a different version of you, or you'll only be accepted if you're a certain version of you, or you know that you just know that the environment's not safe, right? What's another one? So blissful things like listening to music that makes you feel good, writing things down that makes you feel good, listening to things that make you feel good. It's like first, the most important thing is I would say is it's time to detach from the personality, from the person, and go do that identity or lack of identity meditation that I'm going to link in here. Um but that's how you get out of survival. Right? That's how you get out of survival, and it takes time. And you will see the results eventually, and then they just come more naturally. Another thing is the anchoring. I love this one. So anytime in your reality where it drops in, you have an actual passionate moment or you generated something from a state of passion, don't let that slip by. Anchor that in and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, and soak that shit up. Like literally soak the shit up. Like, oh, I'm so passionate right now. And this is what passion feels like in my body. And this is what passion feels like in my emotions. And this is what passion feels in my mental body. And this is what passion feels like. And anchor it in and soak it up for all that it's worth. Okay, soak it up for all that it's worth and then have gratitude for it because the universe gives you more of what you feel. Also, gratitude has all those physical healing benefits, right? Okay. Also, okay, so thank you, creator. Another way to get out of survival is to get into gratitude. Get into gratitude because gratitude makes what you have enough. And when things are enough, then you receive more. So find ways to anchor in gratitude in your life. Like, thank God I fucking have this hat because my hair is a mess today. And because it's so early, I was not going to fucking wake up at fucking 4:30 in the morning, take a shower. Like, no way. I used to do that. I'm not doing that shit anymore. Right. I am grateful that I even have a laptop and a camera to even tape this, right? So having gratitude, I'm grateful that I get to work with my favorite pens, right? Having gratitude, having gratitude, having gratitude. It makes what you have enough so that you can receive more, right? When you have that satisfaction, when you have that feeling content, it's like more will it just comes in, it flows in, it flows in, it flows in, it flows in. So I'm not going to repeat myself anymore. There are ideas to get you out of survival, and obviously if you need help, you know where to find me. And I want you to know that this is an undoing process. For me getting out of the survey, like I'm still in ways when I'm recording this now, I'm still in ways doing that. But it's been about 6 months for me, like year to date. It's been about 6 months since I started and I realized this. So anyway, let's check back in. This is why the lives work because I can stay on topic. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Let's see. So how can you interrupt the pattern of the survival when you go into a state of survival? How can you interrupt that? And then how can you nurture? I use the word nurture like in bold letters, in italics, underlined. Okay. How do you nurture passion? How do you nurture passion in your reality? How do you nurture passion? I just heard, Maggie, perhaps one of the reasons why you feel so stagnant in, going to wave your sign is because you have an attachment to the outcome and that scares you. It scares you to think that you could get paid lots and lots of money for your voice. You have an attachment to the outcome in some way, shape, or form. What can you do to nurture passion in your life so that passion is the one driving the car, taking the wheel? And so then what are you going to commit to? What are you going to commit to? And don't make it unreasonable. Okay. Our expectations can sometimes be our greatest enemy. because we don't set ourselves up for success. We have unrealistic expectations. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to be passionate, I'm going to wake up tomorrow passionate. Maybe you're not used to waking up passionate every morning. And when you're feeling into something that you haven't felt into in a long time, it's okay for it to take time to tune in. Okay. So I think a realistic expectation would be that you catch yourself more often in that survival state. I think that's a realistic expectation. I think another realistic expectation would be that you at least anchor in a moment of natural organic passion that was dropped into your timeline, and you soak that shit in at least once, right? And then once it becomes familiar, then when it becomes habitual, because remember, habit is when the body does it better than the conscious mind. Okay, when it anchors in, or when you anchor it and it's natural for you to anchor and then take it to the next step, then take it to the next level, then da 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 da, right? So what are you committing to? One last thing, pro tip, I guess. No, it's a pro tip, but I don't like using pro tip. I don't know what the fuck to call it. Advanced tip, maybe? Advanced strategy, and then we'll close. Use the word command. Use the word command. It is commanded that I live in a state of passion. It is commanded that I generate my reality from a state of passion. It is commanded that I am opened up to all highest and best, most divine channels of abundance, prosperity, confidence, and, and flow, fluidity. Command, because we are gods in a human vessel. Bottom line, we are gods and goddesses. We are God essence in physical human form. So to say I request or I want, it's like the fuck, what if fucking an Egyptian or a fucking Greek god came up to you and was like, hey, you'd be like, you're a fucking god, right? What if God came up to you and was like, can I love you? You'd be like, what the fuck? You're God. You can do whatever the fuck you want, right? We are the God essence in this reality. And so we say, I command. You command it into your reality. It is commanded that I am no longer attached to the outcomes. It is commanded that I freely and effortlessly can discern when I'm in survival and when I am passionate. It is commanded that I always choose to step in to a state of passion. It is commanded that I compassionately and lovingly redirect myself to the highest and best path, which is through the vehicle, emotion, timeline of passion, energy of passion, right? It is commanded. It's commanded. You have the power. You've been given the power. They've just made you forget. Okay. Okay, so let's close this out. So it is so important that you focus on your state of being, because it's not what you do, it's who you are being while you do it. Okay. So if you're trying to get into a state of passion, but being anxious, it's not how you get there. Okay. If you're trying to, it's like, it's not yoga that makes you blissful. It's not affirmations that make you blissful. It's not meditations that make you blissful. It's not mantras that make you blissful. It's not oming that makes you blissful. It's not any of those things. Those are just permission slips. It is about who you are being while you do it, right? It's if you're going into a yoga practice feeling anxious and you're anxious to get out of that state, and so you go to yoga, you're only going to go through that yoga practice anxious as fuck, right? If you're doing affirmations, trying to convince yourself that you are whatever you're affirming, it's not going to work. Okay. The way that you can tell about who you're being is the emotion that you're feeling. If it's bliss, if it's peace, if it's surrender, if it's happiness, if it's joy, if it's creativity, that is that fluid, passionate state of being. If you're in force, anxious, desperate, confused, frustrated, angry, um, insecure, uncertain, frantic, panicked, those are all survival states of being. Okay. And to save time on this video, you all know that we're going to talk about, and we have talked about how we embrace those limiting or survival, in this case, emotions, because they're messengers and they're actually the gateways to our freedom. But we have to have acceptance for this over here because it does keep us alive and it does have a very good, light, purpose. Um, when we can accept that we feel like shit and be okay with feeling like shit without wishing it were different or without trying to change it, that is the exact moment, you guessed it, it changes. So focus on your state of being. Do that meditation. I'm going to attach it here. Um, and I hope that this was helpful. So much love, so much appreciation, you guys. Keep going because what you're doing matters. Okay. Even if it doesn't feel like it matters. It's all going to add up in the end. It's just, if you really want to make it count, get into that state of bliss, passion, excitement, creativity. I hope this was helpful. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.